Hello everyone, and welcome to today's session of C Interview. I am Harmeet Kaur, and today we have with us an esteemed guest, Philipp Sulim, who is a theatre faculty at Christ and possesses an immense love for theatre and acting which has been unheard of. His journey from Russia to India is something which we all want to know. Let's get to know more about Mr. Philipp and his unique passion for theatre. Hello and welcome, sir.
Hello.
So, briefly tell us about your journey from Russia to India.
It was quite a comfortable journey. I took airplane, and it was nice with decent food. But it wasn't from Russia; it was from China.
Okay.
Because before India, I spent a number of years in China, so I also worked there. Because I find Asia quite fascinating, and India is very different Asia from China Asia. So yeah.
Okay. So, what made you choose theatre and acting as your career?
I think when I was a kid and when I watched movies or plays with my mates, the way how I look at those pieces of art was quite different. I wasn't just like enjoying the performance, but I tried to analyze why this actor does this or that, about the movements, about some motivations, and I think after like time came to I'll choose major. I thought I can do it like as my job to act, direct. So I got this like love since like childhood, and I joined like youth theaters when I was a kid. So yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So, what do you think are the challenges involved in this field?
I think competition that's the biggest challenge, and it's let's say it's not easier to get a job in theater. Well, let's say I'm not sure about India. I think it's also not very easy because there are like thousands of people who want to act, and because I think it's one of the best jobs in the world. Seriously, it's amazing. Like you live thousands of lives. You enjoy and you get paid for that. That's what could be better, right? So competition, yeah, it's the biggest challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, how is theatre connected to human life?
I think like theater, like helps humanity and human life, because all of these emotions, we touch their hearts, we move people, and theater. Well, like if you talk about theater that I practice personally, it's exploring, like human nature. So it's very connected. They're linked together because let's say, even it calls acting, but we don't act. We experience life on the stage.
Yes.
It's called like art of experiencing.
Yes.
So yeah.
So, do you feel like there's enough scope for theatre and acting?
Oh yes, definitely. there's a lot of scope. If you think about India, I think theater in India, let's say, it's something. This field is developing.
Yes.
And when I just came here, somebody told me there are like not many theaters, but actually there are pretty lot of theaters, and new like theater troops. They like get created. I think like every month there are so many festivals. So yeah, and let's say theater like in the West, it's let's say art of it's elite, it's like tickets to watch a play, they're more expensive than watch a movie, and theaters are full of people, and you don't need to do anything but just acting in theater to make a good living. I think in India it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
So people, they need to do something else, but I'm sure in the future there will be enough theaters, enough theater lovers, and it would be easier for theater actors as well.
Yeah.
But besides theater, you also can work for like television. You can go, movies, TV shows. One of my former classmates, he's in advertising, because like theater itself, it develops your imagination, your creativity that could be used in so many fields. So definitely every person who learn theater get a really good creative job, like 90%.
True.
Yeah.
So, sir, talking about your recent Christ mega production, Queen of Sheba, which was indeed a huge success. So, how was your experience directing it?
That was really interesting. That was really, because it's something different. Because I personally prefer, like social realism. So if I work on some plays, they're usually by Chekhov or Gorky, Shaw, Tennessee Williams. Those plays, they, as I said before, they explore human nature.
Yeah.
They're not about visual effects, something grand. It's about people in real life situations, because most of the audience, if they want to see some great shows, they go to the movies. Because all those visual effects, all these crazy fight scenes that you see in the movie, it's very hard to do the same in theater. But what can you do in theater? You can put real people who live life, and you don't watch it as a show. You just pick a real life from it. Their emotions, their feelings, their drama, their comedy, and that what touches you, and that's why audience laugh and cry in the end. Queen of Sheba is something different. The first of all, it was written by students.
Yeah.
And they did a pretty good job, because they're not professional writers. Even they had 1 semester of script writing, but still, let's say they're beginners. But they put a lot of time and effort in that, so they came up with really good script. The problem was not the problem, let's say it's a challenge. A lot of set changes.
Yeah.
There were I think about 12. Because again, if you stage some social realism plays, there are no set changes, maybe 1 or 2. Because usually it takes place in villas, apartments, or gardens, but there were a lot of them. That was something new for me. And it's supposed to look grand, because king, queen's palace, and we were lack of time, and there were a lot of people, and I tried to put everything together. And when you do plays, you always need to take certain risks, because those risks, they make performance different.
Yeah.
There was one fighting scene, and the fight scene, it was also new for this campus, because people use their furniture. One actress, she was thrown on the table.
Okay.
Then another actress, she took a chair and broke an actor's back, and the whole this fight sequence looked real, very real, and I could hear gasp of people because they were so worried for them.
Yeah.
And the point is, this scene, it wasn't in the script. We just added that because I thought I want to do something different, some real action on the stage, and that also surprise the audience. Because every time when you do something, when you stage, you need to think about audience reaction, how they react on that. And the reaction was, it was a really good reaction. And also, we try to explore, characters, show them from different sides. If it's the king, there's certain stereotypes as people, used to see the king. He's super strict, always wise, like a robot. But we thought, what if we can show that he could be funny, he could be slightly seductive, he is wise, but also could be strict, and he also a son of a mother who listens to his mother. So all those different sides, because first of all, every character is a human being, so we need to see them as humans. So that's ideas I took from my Stanislavski.
Yeah.
And we'd go to it later a little bit.
It sounds interesting.
Yeah.
So, would you like to share any tips for our budding theatre professionals?
Sure, definitely.
Yeah.
The person who inspires me is Stanislavski. It's the person who he wrote the first system on acting. Like before him, you could be an actor only if you got certain, talents. But Stanislavski say that everyone could be an actor. Every person, if you want, you can do it. And he wrote diaries and certain books how to be an actor, like methods. And his books were adapted by Strasberg to method of acting, later. He introduced lots of, terminology like inner conflict, outer conflict, objectives, obstacles. And basically, like, when you understand what this word means and how it works, you can do any kind of play and, like, with success. Briefly, I can explain you what are those. Okay?
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
So, okay, we take this bottle of water.
Okay.
Okay? So, the first is given circumstances. So, you give circumstances that this is it's yours, right? It's your bottle. And I'm very thirsty, right? So circumstances, they give us objectives.
Yeah.
Because every time when you go on the stage, you must have objective. What do I want from her, from him? What do I want, in the end of the scene?
Yeah.
So my objective becomes to drink water because I'm thirsty, right? Then we go to inner conflict. My inner conflict, I want to drink that water, but I'm too shy to ask you if I can drink your water, and there's like cameras, and if it's okay if I drink this water. So I have these doubts, so, and this reflects my body language. I want to take the bottle, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Then I decide, no, I'm very thirsty, so I need to achieve my objective. And for that I use non-verbal or verbal actions. Verbal action, I could ask you, could you please give me a bottle of water? If you tell me no, we have outer conflict that also create on the stage. Then I change verbal to non-verbal action. I take the bottle from you. I open that. Objective achieved. The same way any kind of scene is done in theater. That's how it works. Objectives, conflicts. Another important thing in theater is action and reaction. Like the whole play is a chain of action and reaction. It could be physical action, like for example, if I just jump on the table and start dancing, you'd react, right? Because it's something that you couldn't predict, and it makes this interview more interesting, definitely. But also could be, something verbal, and you also can react on that. When I say something, you don't react mostly on words, you react on subtext. So subtext is another important thing in theater. Subtext is what makes, plays different. If you stage Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet, it was staged 100,000 times before. What makes your production different from those productions? The subtext. What you put in that. Stanislavski say that audience, they come to see subtext because text they can read at home. Subtext works very easy. For example, you have a nice jacket.
Yeah.
Nice jacket. Huh. Nice jacket. So basically, it's the same line, but the way how I say that, what kind of subtext I put in that.
Yeah.
I can mock you. I actually like your jacket. You react differently. The same happens in the scenes, right?
Yeah, true.
If you talk about direction, the most important thing that what I tell people, you speak less, you do more. Because the craziest idea, you think it's so silly, why should we do that? And when you discuss, it sounds silly. It's like it's out of context. But when you try it on the stage, it works so well that you couldn't even imagine that it works. So for all directors, every crazy idea that you have in your head, you need to try that. Everything. Discuss less, just do more. It's very important. And you need to listen to people. If you direct something, don't think you're the smartest, because there are so many people around you with their own imagination. So you listen to those ideas. And every scene needs to be done in 5 different ways, or even more. You cannot stick to something one. You do it different circumstances 5, 6, 7, 10 times, and only after that you choose the best. So you just keep trying and trying. And always, again, if you go back to Stanislavski, he told this new generation that I beg you, break the rules. So in theater, something like wrong and right, they don't exist. You cannot say, oh, you're wrong, or you're right. No, you cannot do that, because you don't have enough, power to say that. Who are you, first of all, right? What could you say, like it's believable or it's non-believable? That works. So that's why everything in theater, all those rules, it could be changed by people. What you need to keep in mind is consequences. Like if you break the fourth wall, there are consequences that you need to know, in advance before you change something or break something. So yeah, be brave. That's my advice. Be brave. No basics, fundamentals. Create your own, like methods. Develop your own ideas, and yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure having you here.
Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, thanks. This is Harmeet Kaur signing off. Until next time.